International Men's Day, November 19th, is a global occasion to celebrate the positive contributions and diverse experiences of being male. On International Men's Day 2010, we're talking with Dr. Warren Farrell, author of 7 books including The Myth of Male Power and one of the world's leading experts on gender issues. One of the main themes of International Men's Day is to celebrate positive male role models, and not just celebrities, but everyday men who are living decent, honest lives. The portrayals of men in the media, however, are often negative, as violent murderers, wife bashers, sexual abusers, deadbeat dads and bumbling idiots, even though in reality only a small proportion of men act out these roles and behaviours. In the third video of this series, Dr. Warren Farrell talks about the effects of this bombardment of negative male imagery.
If we think to ourselves, if instead of saying men, we said, imagine if almost all the portrayals of black males or black females in the media were portrayals of, of people who were hopeless or helpless or fools or rapists or gold diggers or all negative images. And if images of women as mothers were negative images, or if we had almost all negative images of Jews. If as soon as the Jews were involved with the business, we portrayed them as ripping the business off and stuff like that. Jewish people would immediately recognize that as anti-Semitic. Women would immediately recognize it as sexist. And yet with men, we basically laugh at it. And if we see on TV, and a good way of checking that out is watch commercials on TV. And when you watch commercials on TV, there's a formula. And the formula is that if a woman can be portrayed as a jerk, but only if a male is also being portrayed as a jerk. But if only one gender is being portrayed as a jerk, it always is, not mostly is, not most frequently is, but always is only the male being portrayed as a jerk. And especially if the jerk is a significant jerk. Now, if in a Hollywood movie, a U.S. Hollywood fiction movie, if you see a woman for more than 3 scenes in that movie, and she is not hurting the life of another woman, or is not portrayed as the devil character, but as she's portrayed as a normal female, feminine character, and you've seen her for 3 scenes or more, she will not die. She will not be killed in that fiction movie, and made in Hollywood. If it's a real life movie, she may die, because in real life she may die. But in a fiction movie, you cannot sell a Hollywood movie if you have a positive female character who dies. There are many movies in which positive male characters and heroes die at the end, or any time during the movie, or are killed during the movie, and the movie can still sell. So we have in our inner psyche an okayness with the disposability of men, and we believe we can laugh at men and criticize them, and because we feel underneath it all that men have all the power. So the rest of the world is like ants, and men are like elephants. So what can an ant do to hurt an elephant? And as long as we take that perspective on the world, we don't have any guilt about hurting men until we start looking at men in a different way. And there's one word that helps people have compassion for men. It's a 3-letter word, and it's boy, B-O-Y, or S-O-N. And when we see a male as our son, or we see a male not as a male or as an adult male, but see him as a boy, then suddenly we realize, whoa, I care about my son. I care about my son almost equally to my daughter. And therefore, I care that he's hurting, or he's being rejected. I care about the fact that my son is in a world now where in the old days, if he wasn't highly educated, he could prepare for a job in agriculture or a job in manufacturing and still be able to support his family, and therefore still be able to have respect of the community and still be able to get married and have children. But nowadays, with agriculture and manufacturing jobs disappearing and our son's doing much worse in school, I care about the fact that he is still not being, that vocational schools are disappearing, that recess is disappearing in schools, that the things that keep his energy positive, that are oriented toward training him for jobs where jobs will be, that those things are not existing in our school system. When we talk about boys or we talk about sons, suddenly we have an empathy. And the reason for that is that when it came to adult males, women fell in love with adult males who risked disposability. But women, when they're raising children, that surfaces women's protective instincts, that elicits women's protective instincts. And so when we talk about our sons or a boy, then suddenly International Boys' Day can be heard. International Men's Day cannot be heard. International International Boys to Men's Day can be heard.